A family is at the dinner table. The son asks the father, "Dad, how many kinds of boobs are there?" The father, surprised, answers, "Well, son, a woman goes through 3 phases. In her 20s, a woman's breasts are like melons, round and firm. In her 30s and 40s, they are like pears, still nice, hanging a bit. After 50, they are like onions, bullions." The son asks, "Yes, you see them, and they make you cry." This infuriated his wife and daughter. The daughter asks, "Mom, how many different kinds of willies are there?" The mother smiles and says, "Well, dear, a man goes through 3 phases also. In his 20s, his willie is like an oak tree, mighty and hard. In his 30s and 40s, it's like a birch, flexible but reliable. After his 50s, it's like a Christmas tree, a Christmas tree." The daughter asks, "Yes, dead from the root up, and balls are just for decoration." Little Sally came home from school with a smile on her face and told her mother, "Frankie Brown showed me his weenie today at the playground." Before the mother could raise a concern, Sally went on to say, "It reminded me of a peanut." Relaxing with a hidden smile, Sally's mom asked, "Really small, was it?" Sally replied, "No, salty. Mom fainted." A man was having premature ejaculation problems, so he went to the doctor. The doctor said, "When you feel like you're getting ready to ejaculate, try startling yourself." That same day, the man went to the store and bought himself a starter pistol and ran home to his wife. That night, the two were having sex and found themselves in the 69 position. The man felt the urge to ejaculate and fired the starter pistol. The next day, he went back to the doctor, who asked how it went. The man answered, "Not well. When I fired the pistol, my wife pooped on my face, bit 3 inches off my penis, and my neighbor came out of the closet with his hands in the air." 2 cowboys are out on the range talking about their favorite sex position. One says, "I think I enjoy the rodeo position the best." "I don't think I have ever heard of that one," says the other cowboy. "What is it?" "Well, it's where you get your girl down on all 4 and you mount her from behind. Then you reach around, cup her tets, and whisper in her ear, 'Boy, these feel almost as nice as your sister's.' Then you try and hold on for 30 seconds. At school, little Johnny's classmate tells him that most adults are hiding at least one dark secret, so it's very easy to blackmail them by saying, "I know the whole truth." Little Johnny decides to go home and try it out. Johnny's mother greets him at home and he tells her, "I know the whole truth." His mother quickly hands him $20 and says, "Just don't tell your father." Quite pleased, the boy waits for his father to get home from work and greets him with, "I know the whole truth." The father promptly hands him $40 and says, "Please don't say a word to your mother." Very pleased, the boy is on his way to school the next day when he sees the mailman at his front door. The boy greets him by saying, "I know the whole truth." The mailman immediately drops the mail, opens his arms and says, "Then come, give your daddy a great big hug." A little boy caught his mom and dad having sex. After, he asked, "What were you and daddy doing?" The mom said, "We were baking a cake." A few days later, the little boy asked his mom, "Were you and daddy baking a cake?" She said yes and asked him how he knew. He answered, "Because I licked the frosting off the couch." It was Christmas Eve. A woman came home to her husband after a day of busy shopping. Later on that night, when she was getting undressed for bed, he noticed a mark on the inside of her leg. "What is that?" he asked. She said, "I visited the tattoo parlor today. On the inside of one leg, I had them tattoo Merry Christmas, and on the inside of the other one, they tattooed Happy New Year." Perplexed, he asked, "Why did you do that?" "Well," she replied, "now you can't complain that there's never anything to eat between Christmas and New Year's." A woman places an ad in the local newspaper. Looking for a man with 3 qualifications: won't beat me up, won't run away from me, and is great in bed. 2 days later, her doorbell rings. Hi, I'm Tim. I have no arms, so I won't beat you, and no legs, so I won't run away. What makes you think you are great in bed? The woman retorts. Tim replies, I rang the doorbell, didn't I? There was an old couple laying in bed. The man turns and tells the woman, if you want to have sex, pull on my dick once. If you don't want to have sex, pull on my dick 100 times. 3 brothers are traveling along a road and their car dies. They all get out of the car and start walking to a barn that's a little ways away. When they get there, the farmer comes out of the barn and offers them a room for 1 night. He says to the first one, you can sleep with the pigs. The second guy, you can sleep with the cows. And the third guy, I like the cut of your jib. You can sleep with my 18 daughters. The next morning he asks everyone how they slept. The first man said, I slept like a pig. The second man said, I slept like a cow. The third guy said, I slept like a rabbit. I jumped from hole to hole to hole to hole to hole. A married man was having an affair with his secretary. One day, their passions overcame them in the office, and they took off for her house. Exhausted from the afternoon's activities, they fell asleep and awoke at around 8 p.m. As the man threw on his clothes, he told the woman to take his shoes outside and rub them through the grass and dirt. Confused, she nonetheless complied, and he slipped into his shoes and drove home. Where have you been? Demanded his wife when he entered the house. Darling, replied the man, I can't lie to you. I've been having an affair with my secretary. I fell asleep in her bed and didn't wake up until 8 o'clock. The wife glanced down at his shoes and said, You liar! You've been playing golf! During a discussion at Sunday school, a nun asks the children what they think God takes you by when you die. A kid responds, I think God takes you by your feet because once I walked into my parents' room and my mom's feet were in the air and she was screaming, Oh God, I'm coming! A woman is having a hard time getting her tomatoes to ripen, so she goes to her neighbor with her problem. The neighbor says, all you have to do is go out at midnight and dance around in the garden naked for a few minutes, and the tomatoes will become so embarrassed they will blush bright red. The woman goes out at midnight and dances around her garden naked for a few minutes. The next morning, the neighbor comes over to the woman's house and asks the woman if her tomatoes have turned red. The woman says no, they're still green, but I noticed the cucumbers grew 4 inches. A man boards a plane with 6 kids. After they get settled in their seats, a woman sitting across the aisle leans over to him and asks, Are all of those kids yours? He replies, No. I work for a condom company. These are customer complaints.